Hey guys, it's Rafi, and today I'm playing another 15-minute game with 30 seconds of increment. So far, the moves were d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4, which is the Nimzo-Indian, to which I currently play the move c2, queen c2, so that if black captures on c3, I can capture back with the queen so that I don't have to mess up my pawn structure. So black played a very normal looking move here, just castling, which is pretty standard here. And then I'll play a3 and provoke the bishop to capture here so I can capture back with the queen, which I don't know why I can't draw my arrows, but that's what I'm trying to do here. So I'm expecting bishop takes c3, queen takes c3, and then maybe a move like d5 or d6 or possibly c5 or b6 or knight e4. All of these moves I've seen before. And even a6, I think, is a move. So yeah, lots of options. Rook e8 is an option. Knight c6 is an option. All types of possibilities exist, but most commonly black plays d5, b6, or knight e4, or d6 sometimes as well is pretty common. So the main idea of the Nimzo basically is that black gives up this bishop pretty quickly in most cases, and white gets the bishop pair. Of course, I have both of my bishops, but white is typically much behind in development compared to black. As you can see, I haven't even moved any of the kingside pieces yet, and black has already castled. So black tries to use that to his advantage and sacrifices the bishop pair in exchange for that lead in development. But if I'm able to catch up to him in development and get my pieces out quickly, then it should be fine, and I should have a solid game here without any major problems and maintain my two bishops advantage. So black chooses to go with the b6. Very normal looking move. I'll play bishop to g5 here. There is a possibility of knight e4. I've seen that kind of move before, but typically this move knight e4 doesn't help black much um, because I end up taking the queen and still maintaining my bishop pair. So I could play bishop h4. And if he plays g4, then bishop g3, then knight e4, queen c2, knight takes g3, h takes g3 should be fine for me. I don't want to give up this bishop pair that fast. I want to make him make some weaknesses like g5 in order to get the bishop. So I'm going to play bishop to here. So he plays now bishop to b7. So now I will develop my knight. I'm just trying to calculate really quick if knight f3 first or if e3 first, if there's any difference between the two. F3 potentially is a move here as well that I could go for. I think I'll play knight f3. Again, game can continue many different ways here. He can take this. Okay, so he plays d5, which makes sense. Striking back at the center and trying to grab some space there. I think I'll just play e3 here. Okay, so the other knight comes out. Um, I think it is good time for me to go ahead and get my pieces out, so I'm gonna not delay bishop d3 here. I thought for a split second to play rook c1 first with this threat of c takes d5 followed by queen takes c7, but I realized that he could actually strike back with c5 or rook c8 right away, and you know, I I want to get castled up first. Like my goal is just to get my king to safety and then start doing some of these plans. So I just wanted to play a more principled move like bishop d3, which develops a piece, controls this long diagonal, and yeah, as long as I can quickly get my pieces out and castle, I should be fine. I should just have the two bishops without any much too much worries. He could take here now. My bishop will take. He could then take this. I'll take with the g pawn. He could take and play knight e4 as well, possibly. But again, I don't think these lines are good because I'll end up taking the queen. He takes my queen. I can always take on c7 and win a pawn. So I'm never really worried about knight e4. Okay, so he takes. Trying to decide take with the queen or take with the bishop. uh, I think I'll take with the queen because my bishop is already pretty well placed, and I don't want to move it off this diagonal right now. Whereas the queen, I don't necessarily know if it's the best placed piece on c3, so this way I keep my queen active in the center and keep the bishop on the best diagonal for right now that it's on. And this way rook c1 will be a threat also on c7 quickly. If he ever plays a move like a5 followed by bishop a6, I'll play the queen back to c2. And if he wants to exchange bishops here, I'm okay with that. This is a fairly open game, so the bishop pair should help me in this kind of open game. It's okay, so he goes for this idea of just exchanging the bishop for the knight as well, which is very interesting now because I haven't really committed my king to this side yet. So I have possibilities of playing rook g1 and attacking on this open g file now, with the possibility of leaving my king in the center or castling queenside. I think I want to play my rook to this d file to align the rook with the queen. And if c takes d4, my plan is to take back with the queen. So even though I have this doubled pawns here, this f3 pawn is not really the biggest weakness because it can be it's somewhat protected and hard to get to, and it also controls e4 and g4. And I have the open g file to work with as well. Curious to see what my opponent's other ratings are. Blitz is 2200. Wow, he's definitely a very strong player, no doubt. Very, very good speed chess player. Another move to consider is to castle and put the king on h1. I'm debating between that and rook g1. Let's go ahead and get this bishop back this way so that we can create some threats like queen d3 followed by queen h7. If this pawn takes, we can take this, and now we're attacking this knight. So having this open file for the rook, I think, is going to come in handy here pretty shortly. He could play a move like e5, but in that case, I might just maybe potentially push or even take. I mean, both are options. So this is a move that I thought was possible. I don't think it's a good move though because I don't know. I just feel like he's really giving me a lot of open files to work with along with the two bishops, which are going to become really, really powerful. So I'm pretty happy with this position right now. My king is still not castled, but I will soon change that by castling. The only thing is that if I castle, he could play a move like queen b7 and really go after this pawn. So that's the thing I'm not sure if I want to allow him to do. I could play rook g1. Oh no, there's this problem of queen takes h2. If bishop g3, then hmm, bishop g3, queen c5 maybe. Queen d3. I'm not really threatening anything because I can't take here. I mean, I can take, but then knight takes f6 will guard f7 or h7 square rather. So castles, queen b7. Maybe I could play e5 or sorry e4. King e2 is also an option. I think king e2 is what I'm going to play actually. I like the idea of just keeping this king on e2 because it's really a safe square for the king right now. And that connects the rooks and completes my development. And because I have these pawns kind of here, I think it's probably okay for the time being to keep this king, in the center here. And if there was ever a check that came on this diagonal, there's always bishop here to block the check. So I'm creating a threat, or about to create a threat soon, by playing rook to g1. After which my threat is to take here, and if knight takes, then take this again, which would not be able to be taken by the g pawn because the rook is pinning this pawn. So that's kind of a threat that I'm going to try to execute on, and really try to put up pressure here. So my next few moves might be something like rook g1, rook g2, rook d to g1. Queen takes f6, bishop takes f6, queen d3, queen e4, threatening queen h7 type of stuff. And yeah, and I think the king is pretty safe. So if rook g1, queen takes h2, then I'll just play bishop takes f2 or f6. If knight f6, queen f6, and if queen g1, rook g1. And the g pawn is still pinned, so you can't take my queen. That is the idea. The thing is that there's no penetration squares in the c file, really. I mean, he could play queen c4 check, I guess, now and try to trade queens with me. That is definitely a possibility. I guess I should have considered that a little bit, but it's not a big deal if we trade queens here. I'll still have very active pieces and long-term endgame advantage because I have the bishop here to help me against the two knights in an open board and game. So yeah, that's pretty much it here. As far as my overall plans are concerned, I don't know. I think Black will probably play Rook D8 or something like that at this point. Not really certain. That seems to be a logical move. If he plays a move like Queen C5 or something, I might just trade here, or actually, I might just develop this and let him take here on D4 if he wants to, and then take back. In any case, I'll be pretty happy with my two bishops. The only thing I'm concerned about is that we could maybe do a queen trade, but then he'll play G5, bishop G2, I mean G3, and then play maybe knight H5, and then my bishop might not have a diagonal or a space to go to on this diagonal. So I have to always make sure my bishop has some sort of square that it can go to if that idea came into play. Definitely want to maintain the two bishops in this game because we are starting to head towards an end game where the bishops will have hopefully quite a bit of advantage over the two knights, which are also quite restricted by these two pawns. At least this knight doesn't really have that many good squares. It has d5, I guess, and that knight has c5. But most of the entry points are kind of blocked off. So he does go for this trade, which I don't have much of a choice but to comply. I really don't have a choice. I need to pretty much take it. If bishop d3, then queen takes d4, and I'll have an isolated pawn, and that's not good. Queen d3 is an option. Queen d3 is actually a very exciting option. I might go for this queen d3 move. If queen d3, knight e5, queen takes c4, knight takes c4. Queen takes, rook takes, bishop g3. There's knight h4 type of stuff, I guess. I think I'll just trade. I'll just trade down and try to play this position from the as an endgame and maintain my two bishops advantage here. So I think this bishop needs to move, obviously. I think this is probably the best. Let's see if I take knight takes. Yeah, I think bishop g3 is probably best. So now bishop d6 is an idea. So maybe I'll play rook here to d2, and then put the other rook on d1. Sounds pretty logical to me. Bishop d3 here is an odd idea, an option as well. I kind of like this idea of bishop d3, kicking back the rook right away. And really making this c4 rook feel a little uncomfortable for coming out so early quickly like that. King on d2 really also helps me take over the c file if I ever want to challenge him on the c file. But really, I want to take advantage of these two bishops on these against these two rooks, like bishop a6, all types of stuff like that. If I could also get my pawns on b5 and a4 somehow, that'll definitely help me as well, because later on in the endgame, I could always play bishop here and take these two pawns maybe. Bishop d6, rook c6. I think rook d2 makes sense. Trying to double up on the d file maybe. And creating some sort of future threat of playing rook to d8 check, and keeping this bishop diagonal on this diagonal to block off the king's escape square on h7. So most next moves maybe like rook here, bishop here, threatening the knight, or something like that. Well, that is interesting. I could take and then play rook to d1 and offer him an exchange of the two rooks. That's what I will do. I am definitely very happy to trade in this kind of endgame, because my two bishops will definitely outshine my, my two bishops will outplay the two knights, hopefully. I guess I could have played rook c2. That would have been more forcing, because he can't play anything else because I have checkmate. Yeah, I should have gone rook c2 possibly, but it's fine. This is okay. Now these two rooks were his most active pieces, so I traded those off. So I mean, he could go back with the rook, I guess. Good, but the thing is that I'm going to challenge him in the c file no matter what. For example, I could play king d2 next, and then plan to play king c1, The idea here is pretty simple. I'm gonna go ahead and fix these two pawns on these dark squares, and then use these light squares to walk my king up to here, or maybe use my bishops or pawns to stop them. I always have this option available of playing, playing. Bishop a6, rook c2, rook d2, king takes. Should be okay for me, I think. Very interesting that he doesn't want to trade, but he wants to go after this pawns over here or something. So I'm gonna go after his pawns like this. Oh, what the heck did I just do? Oh my goodness. What the heck was I thinking? Why did I just do that? I think I'm fatigued. Man, I don't even know. Don't even have an explanation for that. There is no explanation for a move like that, so I don't know what to do right now. I guess I'll just shuffle pieces back and forth and hope that maybe he makes some mistake. That was ridiculous. I've been doing that for the last couple of days. I don't know why, but maybe I've been playing every time whenever I'm very, very, really tired. I do have a threat of now playing b4 and maybe winning that piece back. But I think there are multiple ways he can stop this. Of course, he can just move his rook away. But then he does lose this pawn, but he's still up 2 pawns, so he should be completely winning either way. But if he doesn't do anything and allows me to play b4 now, then he will actually be in some trouble. Knight e7, then knight d5. I'm trying to play for some tricks here because that's all I could really do. Yeah. If knight d7, bishop takes a7, there's still a threat of b4. Knight d7, bishop takes f7, rook c7, b4, rook takes, pawn takes, rook takes, rook takes. Is still winning for him, I guess. Well, I guess no, maybe I don't know. Well, I have c6. Then of that, knight has to move. Then c7 comes with tempo. Yeah, there's definitely some interesting play here that is coming up. But here he takes my knight. I take this. I think I'm gonna have to take this. And now what I had prepared was b4, rook takes here, rook takes a3. I have to pretty much play b4 now. Not take. Oh, and then knight takes. Yeah, that's of course very good for him. Unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do in this position. It's just dead, hopelessly lost. I'm not even sure how to make progress. I don't really have much else I can do in this position besides just shuffle my king back and forth and wait for him to come towards me. A very small possibility and hope would be to trade off all the pawns and leave a situation where it's a rook and knight versus the rook. That would be a draw. I mean, yeah, if all else equal, that would be a draw actually. But can I accomplish that? I don't know about that. That's a completely separate question there. If and how would I accomplish that? I don't know. And the best I can do in these kind of positions is that I can just try to keep my pieces active and hope for something here. If I check and trade rooks, it's really hopeless. Yeah, I'm not even sure what to move here. This might be a resignable position here shortly. Resignable. Yeah, because this pawn is gonna run if I just let him have this, and there's no way I can protect that. And I have to basically create play here now, so that's just pretty much it, I think. This will just walk down. Spotting backwards moves with the rook and the bishop, especially the bishop, is a skill that needs to develop, especially for more younger players. But those moves are hard to spot even at an advanced level. As you can see that, I mean, I just clearly missed this move. It was a very weird position where the bishop kind of comes to the back rank of the enemy camp. The rook is in the back rank of my camp and then goes back to grab that bishop. So it was a very unique position, and I obviously missed it. So I can grab that pawn all day, but there was really nothing stopping him from queening here. And now there's really no way to even stop the queen. Here, and it's just lost. Very unfortunate way to lose a game. Let's analyze real quick and then go on about our day, but I'm pretty sure that we played a pretty decent game until I played bishop here and then just lost the game on the spot. But anyway, let's look at it. If there was any other mistakes besides that. But yeah, this is just not a very good way to lose a chess game. It's one thing to play a good game and eventually get outplayed and lose, but it's a whole different thing when you play a very decent game and then have a great advantage position with a lot of advantage and then simply just blunder a piece and lose. That is a different type of loss. And those losses are very hard to get over. Okay, I made three blunders in this game apparently. Let's see. Okay, so the Nimzo-Indian happened here. All this is pretty basic. Opening theory. And he played b6. Excuse me. Bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, bishop b7, knight f3, d5, e3, knight b d7, bishop d3 is what I played. So this is kind of where I broke theory. And theory says that I should take on d5. Mm, okay. Interesting, but I think my move is, although a novelty, perfectly playable move. Why not bishop d3, putting the bishop on the long diagonal? He takes, queen takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, c5, rook d1, all the best moves so far pretty much. Rook c8, and here I start to have a little bit of advantage, so I played bishop b1. It took. Queen takes. Queen c7. And I'm very happy that I found this move King e2 because I see that the computer is also recommending this as its fourth choice, third choice now. So King e2. Check. Takes, takes. Bishop g3. Bishop d3. And then rook d2 apparently doesn't like it that much. But, I mean, what's wrong with the move? I think it's fine. I'm not seeing a major problem with the rook move, personally, but bishop a6, I guess, in theory, is a little bit better because I'm challenging the c file. Um, anyway, rook d2, rook c1, rook takes. And now I had bishop b5, knight f8, rook d8. Oh, okay, so I had some ways to really annoy the black coordination of the black pieces, the harmony of the pieces. But instead I played this. Now bishop a6, rook check, rook d2, rook c1, and now again I could have played the bishop b5 idea, but instead I just did the wrong square. I thought I was going after the knight and trying to get to the 8th rank this way, but just blundered a piece. Bishop g3 was a possibility here, but I went for this, took this again. Apparently taking that, I missed actually at the very end. I calculated all this, but I really missed that knight takes c5 is one of the options. So here he played rook c7, then I played b4, rook takes a7, b takes c5, knight takes. But even if he takes the b pawn, that would have been fine for me. I just miscalculated the whole thing. And that wouldn't have been fine for me. I meant to say that would be fine for him. But I miscalculated all of it and just really lost from this point forward. Especially from the point of when I dropped the bishop on c8. Anyway, so unfortunate loss, but it is what it is. Main takeaway is always to watch out for these backwards moves with the pieces, especially the rook and the bishop. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy and have a great rest of your evening.